shifting gears now. I'm standing outside my Oregon home, and it's really chilly. It's a chilly, chilly afternoon. And I'm moving around trying to stay warm. I have on a coat, a very fancy hat, and a purse filled with Monopoly money. I'm locked out. I have to wait to be let in. Finally, I hear the click of the lock, and this 8-year-old voice says, "You can come in now, Isabella's store is open." So I walk inside, and I see through floor-to-ceiling windows the forest below. She takes my hat and coat and puts it on a coat tree. Then she showed me where I can sit. And she moves around and sits on this green patterned couch. I look at the coffee table that's between us. There is a candle for ambiance. There's a smell of fresh roses. There are 2 rotary dial phones. Neither of them are connected to anything. And there is a Fisher-Price cash register in the center. And next to that is a handmade receipt book. Isabella sits back with all the weariness of an 8-year-old sales girl and says, "How can I help you? Why have you come?" And I say, "Well, as you know, I'm very rich, and I'm going to travel all around the world, and I'm going to need some brand new clothes, and I'm going to need clothes for summer and clothes for winter, and when I'm in England, I will probably be visiting the Queen, so I'll need something very nice for that." She picks up a wooden pencil and chews it until I can see teeth marks in it. Then she looks at me and says, "I have everything you need. Wait right here." Then she goes into my closet and takes out about everything I own. And she drapes it all around the back of the couch. She makes another trip and puts it over the shoulders of the couch. And then she begins to extol the virtues of each piece. "You will like this one because it's fluffy. You will like this one because it's soft. You will like this one because it's red. This one is yellow to match the sun. I think this one was imported from Mongolia. This one has buttons up the front, and that's very useful sometimes." And she goes on. And then she comes to a purple dress with stars on it, and she says, "This is the one to meet with the Queen." And I agree. But I see one that looks a little too worn, and I say, "I don't know about that one. It looks a little old." And she says, "Buy it anyway." "Come on, buy it anyway." "Well, if you don't like it, I'll give you a $100 discount." So I decide to buy it anyway. Then she goes into the kitchen and she rummages through the broom closet, and she comes up with several large bags, and she puts all of my belongings in the bags. And I ask how much it's going to be, and she says, $1 million. And I say, "Well, that's okay because I'm rich." So I open my purse and I begin to hand out multicolored money. I have several $500 bills I give her, and some 2s and some 1s and some 5s and some 10s. And pretty soon she says, "Don't give me any more." And I say, "I don't think we've gone to $1 million yet." And she says, "My cash register can't hold any more. I'm going to have more people coming in today, so you can't fill it all up." Okay. I say, "Now that you're rich, what are you going to do with all your money?" And she says, "I think I'm going to feed all the hungry people, well, at least half the hungry people in the world." And I say, "Why only half?" And she says, "I can't do everything at once." Then she reaches for the black rotary phone, And she picks it up and she says, "You are done, right?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "All right, taxi. I have someone here who needs to leave right now." And she looks at me and says, "The taxi's outside. He's here already." And I said, "Well, what's the red phone for?" And she said, "That's for clothing emergencies. You don't have one." So I pick up all my bags of clothes and I walk outside and she thanks me for coming and I close the door behind me. And then I wait a few minutes and I go back in and she's delighted with playing store, just delighted. And I smile and I think about how long it's going to take me to hang up all of my clothes, put them all back in the closet. Isabella is no longer 8 years old, she's 25 years old. But she has never lost her love of clothing and selling clothes. She came last Friday to celebrate Thanksgiving and my birthday. And we decided to go to the Goodwill bins in Oxnard. Has anybody here been to the bins? Okay. For those of you who haven't, it's a huge warehouse. And there are these blue bins on wheels, and maybe there's like 35 or 40 of them in the warehouse. And they're filled with clothing mostly, some have other things. And people stand behind this red line. There's a sheet covering the bin, and when the sheet is removed, people rush towards the bin and begin, it's like Christmas Eve at Macy's. They're just going like this. And everybody knows exactly what they want to buy. And they're just focused on it. Well, Isabella is very intense and competitive. Isabella knows vintage clothing, she knows labels, and she knows what the people her age will buy. And so she buys big bags of vintage clothes. At one point, she picks up a bikini bottom, and she looks across the warehouse, and there's a woman with a bikini top. Oh. Same thing. And they look at each other like, we have to solve this problem. So they come together and they're talking about how to do it, and they decide to play rock, paper, scissors. And Isabella comes away with a bikini. She says, "Ma, I feel kind of bad about that." And I said, "Honey, you won it fair and square." Well, Isabella got her love of thrifting from me, but her sense of fashion from her mother. If you are ever in San Diego, you can visit her French boutique that happens every Saturday at a pop-up market, where she sells wonderful clothes that we have mended and repurposed and bleached and sewn and brought back pretty much to their original condition. However, she no longer uses a Fisher-Price cash register because it doesn't hold enough. So now she'll take Apple Pay or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That was a wonderful story of make-believe and not make-believe. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, who would be...
Wait.
Oh.
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute for... I'm gonna do it this.